Welcome back. Another new episode of the District of Unity podcast. What we are doing today, the title of it is called the Entertainment Industrial Complex. There's a lot tied into it with social media, the media, music, gaming, you name it. All of it is there trying to rewire people's brains and rewire the way we operate in an everyday lifestyle. It's a lifestyle change that the world is trying to bring upon us. We all know and love Mr. Brandon. He is back. He is going to take care of talking about it from his perspective, and I'm going to play second fiddle to him because I'm very interested in what he has to say, and I'm going to chime in and say what I have to say about it. So get us going. What are you thinking with it?
All right. So the whole thing about this is that I've paid attention to certain ways on how this generation is reacting to music and how it influences them.
Mm-hmm.
And not just music, electronics, media,
Social media, gaming,
you name
everything.
it. You name it. And what's come to it is that, and I realized this because I kind of experienced it when I was young, was that when I was younger, we had like the PlayStation 2 and stuff, and the music. So when gaming was still young,
Mm-hmm.
and us kids, we was into gaming, our attention was on that. But because I had parents who disciplined me, they taught me a valuable lesson about that. And the main thing is that kids nowadays see that their parents will get upset because they're gaming and stuff, when no, that's not the case. My parents used to get upset at me when I was gaming a lot because I allowed it to be a distraction from my priorities and me doing physical activity, things that a kid should be doing for his health, his or her health,
Mm-hmm.
and make sure that my chores are done and stuff like that. Basically, making sure that I'm staying on track on who I need to be, not only for myself but for what God has in store for me.
Absolutely.
So and I didn't really get that until as I got older and stuff, and I understood, like, okay, my dad told me that he had to give up gaming because of the fact about what he had to do for the family.
Absolutely.
That man worked full, like, freaking bell to bell hours, a lot and stuff like that, a lot of times, because again, times were tough then, and times are getting tougher now.
Right.
When it comes to financial stuff. So my dad, my dad will get frustrated with me when I was younger because it's like I was prioritizing what I want to do rather than what is needed first.
Exactly.
It's like when your parents tell you about when you're little and how you eat. You want to make sure you eat your real, like, some actual food first before you're able to eat the nice, sweet, and delicious treats that you get afterwards.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So it's like, even the drinking thing. When it comes to drinking sodas or juices, my parents always tell me make sure you eat first or eat most of your food, then you can sip on it. But other than that, you have to do what you need to do first in order to savor what you want afterwards as a reward.
Exactly. I mean, eat your vegetables first, then eat the meat, and then you might be able to get a small piece of pie, a small piece of cake,
Maybe
whatever.
even ice cream,
Maybe even ice
That's
cream.
what I'm saying. So, and that plays a big part on how my generation and the next generation are putting their attention onto their phones, because it's even mobile gaming is a thing. It's not just that either. You got people that are having their own TikToks, having their own. They have their own profile to do their own social media stuff, No one is saying that you cannot do that, but there is a silver lining to where you have to make sure you got to prioritize what is needed first when it comes to responsibilities, when it comes to being an adult, because number one thing is adulting sucks in general. Even he can attest to that. Adulting is the number one thing that we all don't want to do, but it is needed.
Absolutely.
It is needed because it helps us to stay in tune on who we are, and helps us mentally on, all right, keep our mind busy and stuff. That way we don't have to get to the point where we're bored, to the point where we become depressed of it, and we become to the point where we're antisocial because, well, nobody knows what we're going through. When really most of this generation today is going through that, to where they allow the electronics and the technology to distract them from their families, to distract them from what is needed from them to do at home, or what is it for needed to do for themselves to make themselves better.
Do you believe that, like, with the phone and social media, and even in music, I mean, like with some hip hop, some rock, and so forth, you know, they always have some sort of sexual overtone, some sort of victim overtone, some sort of aggression, like you gotta take out this N, I'm not gonna say it, y'all, and stuff like that in the song. Do you think that stuff like that is making people more narcissistic, more psychopathic, and stuff like that, or is it something else?
I would say that plays a part, but it's also up to them on what they choose to influence them.
Right.
You know, it's like it's the parents that have to teach them or coach them.
Right.
Coach them.
Right.
Show them that that it's more. There's more to music than just the beat.
Absolutely.
There's more to music than just, oh my gosh, that's a nice song.
Mm-hmm.
What makes it so nice? So you gotta elaborate on that. And this is where my generation will say, oh my gosh, that's too much thing to do, or oh my gosh, that's too much work.
You know what?
So now you're doing what you want to do and say, you know, I'm not even gonna put no mind to it because I'm just play oblivious.
You just hit it right on the head without even explaining it. I'm gonna tell you, because a lot of kids, and I'm saying kid in a relative term, I'm talking about, you know, between 15, 25, maybe 30.
I'm a young adult, so I'm still a kid at some point because we're all learning stuff as we become adults.
But the funny part of it is like when you try to get one of them to explain why they like or why they hate something, it's too much information for them. But they can figure out that damn app.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying? They say what we try to talk to them about that is so simple. And we elaborate on it so that they can understand. Yet, I think they do understand. They're just trying to push it to the side because they're not prioritizing that as a way of needing to know that to help get them through life.
Right.
See, the role of the it's so easy that basically these electronics are raising our generation. It's not the parents no more. The parents are just, this is how society wants our parents to be. Be their best friend. You know, do this, be that, be lean. Like, hold on. So you want them to take out the disciplinary part that molds a person to being mentally strong and stable. To be able to process information, that's able to say, you know what, I may not feel right now, but I'm not gonna let that to allow myself to victimize myself. And that's what a lot of these kids do nowadays. They'll bring up anything to where they don't want to deal with something that they don't want to deal with, but it is what is needed. And the thing about it is that everything that happens to you, whether it could be bad, but the fact that it is that you're trying to seek out attention to the electronics, you're trying to seek out something that's man-made, but they're electronics. That doesn't do anything for us.
Well, you know,
and then they're trying to, and then with each media platform and music and how it influences you, it kind of reprograms your mind, whether you realize it or not,
it's subliminal.
to where it can either blind you from what's really going on in the world, which that's there's a lot of things that are going on in this world when it comes to this that my generation just doesn't seem to care.
Well, you brought up a hell of a point, and I don't even think you realize you did. Here's the thing. Even with gaming and social media, there's always some leveling going on. Okay? So, like, I'll use PlayStation for an example. I was testing the damn thing out, and everything I did, I got rewarded on. I was like, I didn't do nothing on the game, and I'm already being rewarded on here.
And that right there is the same thing as getting a reward for participation. And then it makes us feel good. It makes us feel like we've accomplished something when really all we did was thing. And then you got so many of our generation watching people gaming and thought, oh yeah, they're professionals, when gaming is a form of a physical activity, but it's not to the point where it's, how do I say it? It's not football. It's not basketball.
Right.
Okay? It's not a sport where you literally have to put your whole physical and mental and trying to build yourself up physically and health-wise and mentally.
Right.
No, it's basically an outlet.
Right.
And it's a good outlet. A lot of it's good because, you know, back when PlayStation 3 was coming out, you know, we had a lot of grown adults. We had a lot of kids too on that Call of Duty Black Ops 2. And listen, that was the game. That was the game, man. Everybody raged on it, okay?
Right.
But it allowed us to vent out. But we also understood from the receptors' end of they're saying it because in the moment they're upset that they lost, okay?
Right.
They're not saying it to purposely, you know, harm you in a way.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a verbal way of you know, it's just a sense of, you know, accomplishment and stuff. And back then, a sense of accomplishment didn't mean a lot to us when it comes to game.
Right.
Now,
everything.
Now everything has to be censored because we got people who are victimizing themselves over something that shouldn't even be victimized at all.
That's why I mentioned the leveling part.
And I understand that the reason why PlayStation did that is because an actual kid or person did say something to someone, and that someone committed suicide.
Oh my goodness.
So that is a serious topic to go on. So when it comes, and here's the thing, it's got to be the parents to make sure that whatever the kids are playing is got to be age appropriate for them. Or here's the big question then. What is age appropriate for us nowadays? Look at the PG-13 movies that they're coming out with. Look at is it really PG-13? No, it's rated R. Like, look, I mean, they're allowing us kids, they're allowing like the little kids and stuff to say some crazy stuff that we think that they think that we're supposed to laugh at it, when it's something that we should be taken seriously. Well, like, yes, it's something to laugh about because let that be my kid, you know? Let that be my kid. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, that's a disciplinary action right there.
Well, let me ask you this, because I'm saying something, and look, we don't go off of a script, folks. This is all coming out of our head as we're speaking to you, so it's authentic. It's not something that we make up and say, oh yeah, well, we need to talk about blah, blah, blah.
There's not a piece of paper around here to say that either.
And there's no screen behind there that's a teleprompter or nothing like that. So, but what I wanted to ask you, because it just popped into my head, what the hell is that movie, Sausage and something?
Sausage Party.
Yeah, Sausage Party. I saw the damn clip on there one time.
What did they rated it again? Did they rate it as PG-13?
Yeah,
oh my gosh! And
I didn't see the movie, folks. I just saw the clip of it.
So for those of you who watched it, I only watched some scenes because, and this is when I'm old enough. This is me recently looking at it, and I can't believe they'll make something PG-13 like that when Shrek, the original, the cartoon Shrek movie, was literally appropriate in a way to where they made sure they put adult jokes, but in a way where it's safe enough for the kids to hear because they're not going to get it.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Now, that is something that is definitely more like PG-13 because there's no cursing in it. There was no foul language. It was just pure funny humor that was meant for everybody.
And it was a
Shrek.
Okay.
Yes, this is Shrek that I'm talking about.
Okay.
So Shrek then was PG-13, right?
Yeah.
But even then that was something that fit the bill. Because once you hit the preteen ages, once you start to understand or when you start to beginning to grasp the concept of teen, you're switching from the kid humor to now there's going to be a shift where you're going to start being exposed to certain humor.
Right.
You're going to be exposed to a lot of things. And there's going to be a lot of people that are going to say that's cool and that's that.
Okay.
But you cannot really dictate that until you just got to be able to trust your again, it has to go with that parenting. Your parents are not supposed to be our best friends. Yes, that's supposed to be developed over time as we become adults, fully adults, and then we could talk, have that best friend relationship with them because they're our parents. But at the end of the day, we're still their babies. We're still the kids. At the end of the day, we have to be obedient, not only to them, but to how we're supposed to treat ourselves.
So, who is this? And I don't know how involved that you would even know about it or whatever, because I just see clips on YouTube and places like that.
Right.
Who is this girl that's supposed to be Snow White, and she's complaining about being Snow White, saying that, that the story is BS and that she needs to have.
This is new to me too, so I
thought you might have known because I saw it, and I'm gonna give a plug. I saw it on the Hill this morning or something like that. It was on a YouTube clip. She's an actress playing Snow White, and I guess she was with the woman that's playing Wonder Woman, and they were standing there doing an interview, and she was just basically I guess raging about her playing Snow White and how Snow White is a victim and all this other stuff instead of being a hero. And
see, and here's the thing: Snow White is a Disney princess. Okay, throughout the original cartoon to the Shrek version.
Okay.
Of Snow White.
I never saw it, but yeah.
Shrek was it Shrek 2, I believe?
I never saw it.
It was that one.
Mm-hmm.
But Snow White her story is simple. She's in a deep coma, right?
Right.
Is this
Snow White? From the original,
right?
Yeah.
She's in deep coma in a nice, beautiful glass enclosure where she's looked over by 7 dwarves.
Yeah.
And awaiting for a prince to come with the true love's kiss. It's a romantic story. It's not supposed to be something about a heroic thing. The only thing that's heroic about is the fact about when the prince arrives and
that's what she's complaining about. That's what you just brought up is what she's complaining about.
This is where I say our government is turning the tides. They're putting their main focus on sexist, racism, all that stuff. Whether it's
isms, yeah.
When it comes to whether you're in gaming, whether you're in music.
You see how all this ties together, folks?
The government's infiltrating its moves through our electronics, and there's a lot of us that doesn't want to be aware of that or just chooses not to give a crap. When really, so you don't really care if the government is literally trying to reprogram you to be brainwashed. But yet, you're okay with doing things that are not of your age to be doing that either.
Right.
Now, what I'm saying is that there's a lot of things that these teens are doing that they just don't care about themselves anymore. They don't care about morals. They don't care about the way they treat each other.
Give me an example.
When I was in high school, I went to all boys school.
Okay.
So the only thing, there's a lot of mornings where I'll just sit there and I'm tired as heck, but I'm paying attention to what they're talking about. They're in competition of each other of who literally had sex with the most girls.
Yeah, I mean they did that when I was in school. So,
and whether it's bragging or not, or whether it's a joke or not, you don't think about it. You don't really think deep about it when it comes to it. And then later on, when you're an adult, you regret everything that you did. You want to talk about living your life with no regrets. Yet, the biggest one is the fact about how you treat other people.
Absolutely.
How you treat yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you treat yourself like crap, you're going to treat other people like crap. That's just a plain, simple fact. And with that said, you got so many people that are trying to persuade you to doing whatever it is, whether gaming too much and stuff like, this is coming out right now, limited,
Yeah, and see, one of the things that, again, I tell you, a lot of stuff that you're saying is getting me to think here. You think about the multi-tiered relationship that happens, okay? What I mean by that, when you talk about social media and you talk about Instagram profiles, especially Instagram, Facebook too, you see a lot of double lives being led. Because I always see people there's some people that I loved on Facebook, okay? And I don't miss that platform at all, okay? Because what they put out there is completely different than what they're living. In both ways. Some of them play the victim, some of them play the royal, I guess, like royalty. Like, oh, I can go to this place and do this. I can go and do that. Then you got the other side of it where it's like, I'm always in a bad relationship. I'm always, being abused.
And we're not saying this is everybody on social media platforms, but it's the majority.
But it makes it a toxic environment to look at because it's like, that a lot of that stuff is total BS.
And what is one thing that all those freaking people that do that have in common? They only do it, and then at the end, once they're done with the video, they say, please like, subscribe, and follow. So...
That's screaming insecurity, to be honest with
you. They're only... You got these people that are even reacting to music videos, or reacting to this, and they're like, yo, like, subscribe, and follow. For what? For you reacting to something? Like, I'm gonna like the video, yes. I'm gonna like what you guys said. But the fact that is that I'm not gonna follow something that I don't know them personally. That's just me.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't know you personally, if I can't have that trust in that someone to where they are who they say they are or who they show they are, I mean, at the end of the day, no disrespect, no shade, no tea, I'm not gonna follow you.
Okay, so let me take it in a whole nother direction. And this is going to lead to the OnlyFans side of things. The women that go out there and look, I'm human, I'm a man. I see the women out there. Some of them look fine in their pictures and all this other stuff. But how can you have the respect for them and get into a relationship with them if they have an OnlyFans page and that's what they constantly do? I'm not saying this coming out of hate. I'm just saying it out of logic. Okay, you done showed everything. The guy has mind effed you already before he even meets you. Everything that he would have thought when he sees this woman taking her clothes off has already been manifested in his head before he even hold your hand, much less kissing you and doing everything else. So how can you really take a relationship like that seriously based off of that.
And I'm gonna elaborate a little bit on that.
Go for it.
We all have devious thoughts that we think about when it comes to people, whether it's sexual, harmful, the way how you feel like you're angry at someone. And yet, look what's feeding that. Pay attention to what's feeding that. The music that you listen to, the games that, or the fact of what's taking your attention, what's drawing you, what's distracting you from your priorities, what's distracting you from doing some action instead of just pillow talking. What's distracting you from getting up from your butt and taking on the day the best that you can, no matter what. Because for those of people who want to make everything an excuse for them, or trying to victimize themselves over it for an excuse of not doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
Very disappointing. Very disappointing. And this is how society is. And because it's also influencing our younger generation, it's also going to influence the older generation.
Absolutely.
Because there's a lot of the older generation that's old enough to be our parents that are even falling into it.
Yeah. I see a lot of women in their 50s and beyond that's doing the same thing some of those teenagers and 20-somethings are doing online.
And I give respect to some people who have done actually very good at what they do when it comes to streaming and stuff. Like, I'm going to bring up this one YouTuber that I like.
Go ahead.
And the reason why I say, because the way how he is in his videos is most likely the way he is in person. And if not, you know, you don't see him much. But I tell you what, when he does his stuff on YouTube, man, it's just funny as it's just pure comedy in his own way. He never changes up. He stays the same person. Okay. Now, yes, there is subtle changes that you see, but it's because he's progressing.
Of course.
So when you progress, you got to make your content progress.
Right, right.
So Dash EXP, one of my favorite funny guys, man. He's a gamer. But the way how he does it is like he doesn't only do that. Like he'll branch out when his older videos, and he'll do like skits or something. It just sounds so funny, man. But it's because you could see it's the intent of what he's doing it.
Right.
You know, he's not doing it to distract you. He's not doing it today. He's doing it because he's hustling. He's doing it because he's trying his best to do what he needs to do and stuff. And look at you see throughout his videos, that's his house. So when you see his house and how clean it is, you see what I'm saying? He uses the gaming and what he does as a motivation to keep going and to keep pursuing something and to keep being a good person physically and mentally. Look at from where he started off. He used to be big.
Okay.
He used to be a heavy set. Now it changed. As you see throughout the videos, you see him losing that weight and eating healthy, drinking healthy on the screen. What is it? That dude literally he is so creative with his humor. He even has coffee mugs that represents his humor at times.
Okay.
And it's funny as heck, you know. And at the end of the day, he does it with the pure intention. He doesn't do it in a way where, you know, he does it in a way where he grasps your intention in a good way to where he tells a story with his humor.
I got you.
He goes on with it.
Right.
You know? And at the end of the day, people like that, people who does that stuff, who actually knows what they're doing and how they can benefit making themselves better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's
it's not like the couple that you see that goes to Greece and they're not just posting photos. They're showing everything that's going on acting like they participated in it. I mean, really, they go there only to get the likes and the views. Are
And
they actually enjoying
see,
their experience?
see, you got a lot of these people nowadays that are doing videos to purposely get views and stuff. Where the guy that I was talking about wasn't doing it just for that. He did it because he enjoys it. He did it because he felt a joy that came from not only his gaming but also the way he made people felt when it comes to when he told jokes, when he was being funny, when he was making people smile and laugh. That is why he does it.
Mhm.
If you do things with the right intentions, you will become probably one of the most successful, very good successful people. Now you're gonna get haters regardless.
Absolutely.
You're gonna gain haters for that. And you know what? You know why? Because they don't like people. They don't like it when something is changing and it changes that person. It also changes the dynamic of how things are, which
Right.
nothing good or everything that is here, every moment is a temporary moment. It's a
Absolutely.
temporary thing. Like this right here, this is all temporary. What
Absolutely.
we don't do like there
Nothing is forever.
nothing is forever.
Material wise, anyway.
Nothing. Literally. And that's when this is why we're bringing up this topic is because for the people who are putting their attention towards the new modern industrial music that they're coming out with, rap, it has no good message if you pay attention to the lyrics.
The entertainment industrial complex, folks. That's a new term. I'm coining that term because that's exactly what it is. It's indoctrinating everybody. And when I'm saying indoctrination, that doesn't necessarily mean just sexually. I mean just your whole demeanor.
And then
How you supposed to feel. How you supposed to react. Are you a victim all the time?
And when you brought up that question about the actress and stuff, this is what people pay really attention to, and this is a prime example. They pay attention to what celebrities are going through, struggling wise, right? And then we try to apply that to what we're going through, and it doesn't add up. And then we get frustrated because like, oh wait, hold on, they're doing something, but yeah, I feel the same way. Yet it's not the same thing.
It's not.
So. It's just nothing but creates catastrophe when it comes to how the government is trying to separate us. They're trying to divide us by anything. But look at what they did with Little Mermaid, the movie.
Oh my God.
They made Mermaid what it wasn't supposed to be.
In what way? Because I don't know about.
Well, the original Mermaid, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But originally, she was a white mermaid, a white woman mermaid.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
And, I don't know, I haven't watched the movie, and my lady watched it, and I didn't want to watch it because I already heard a lot of comments about it too, of that, and I'm like, you know what, there's no point into paying attention to the noise either, because the noise is just as bad as the movie.
True. That's a hell of a point.
So, and then you also have movies that are actually quite the opposite. And you got this generation that will oppose it, saying like, oh yeah, no, that movie was not as good as the original 3 or something like The Matrix. When the new Matrix came out, everybody's like, oh, I didn't like it. It's freaking trash. I got to watch it. And here's this is why no one likes it. And I'm gonna get a lot of freaking... I'm gonna get a lot of freaking comments on this.
Go for it.
That new Matrix movie is a prime example of how the government is controlling us. No matter what, even with the original, they've done it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not as flashy and stuff as the original, but is it really supposed to be that? Especially when Keanu Reeves is that old. We can only expect the best of them, and Keanu Reeves did put his best effort into it, and to still stay true to the storyline of how the government and how biblically true it is.
You know, here's the funny part. The first three movies we brought up, they were all kids' movies. I have to add one more to it. What was that? Velma, the one on Scooby Doo.
Yep.
Look,
Oh!
I watched the original. I watched the original.
Oh, we're talking about
She was nowhere near
why?
LGBTQ.
Just why? Now you're pushing political, not just political, but a situation, just propaganda into a movie that's supposed to take you outside of that.
Exactly.
Look at the original.
That's why I brought it up.
OG Scooby-Doo fans.
Yeah.
We know this.
Yeah. It came out in the 60s.
She was actually supposed to be in love with Shaggy.
Yeah.
Shaggy.
Yeah.
And then here's a little secret about Shaggy too. Everyone thinks he was all scared and stuff. Yeah, he was, but dude was a secret weapon. Bro's a freaking crazy dude, man. You tried. He used 1.1% of his power, man. That dude would freaking go ballistic with his freaking fight skills. But at the end of the day, that's another good thing that you brought up,
right?
Because just
that's funny.
It's funny because look at what they're doing with the other movies too that are doing.
That's what I'm saying. It's like all of these classics, they're turning it into propaganda machines now.
And then look at the Marvel.
Oh, God.
But look who bought it. So, really, you can't expect nothing more, nothing less when it comes to them ruining Marvel. Especially when it comes to their shows and...
Let me make a side point.
Go ahead.
All right. Let me make a side point on everything. And I'm talking to you people out here. I understand that it's storytelling. Before somebody even decides to comment, well, they always have original content and then never update anything to what's going on. Let me finish. I'm going to let you jump in after I say this. Look, we understand this is not real. Just like with Star Wars, Star Trek, any comic book hero that you could come up with. But there's a certain essence to the story that has to make sense. A lot of the stuff that came out back then, except for the World War II stuff, was away from real life. Everything that they come out with now, from kids' movies to, kids' documentaries to everything that you would even think of, even, of course, and especially the news, everything draws you back to what's going on now. And people are amped up, they're stressed out, they feel victimized, and they can't seem to find any relief from life because it's been pushed on them 24/7, 24/7, 24/7. You look at your social media posts, somebody's bitching about, I can't believe Trump is, not being locked up or being locked up. Biden is not being locked up or being locked up. I can't believe they let such and such get away. Has that affected your life at all? If you really think about it, no. Then you listen to the song. I'm going to beat this end up. I'm going to F this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. So now you're still being amped up. You go to the gym. You're working out. You're listening to that. You're always hearing something that's like getting you amped up and getting you ready for war. Then you start looking at the news. You start looking at clips.
It's starting to prepare you for war that's not even like...
It just keeps going and going. And even these kids' movies, they indoctrinated them to sex before, just like we talked about with Sausage Party, Velma being a lesbian and stuff like that. It's like, does a 10-year-old kid, does a 7-year-old kid need to hear that? Hell no. And who came up with music? Whose job in heaven, let's get to a biblical standpoint, that it was.
Truth. I love it.
That it was his responsibility for music and entertainment.
He was the DJ of heaven.
Right.
and that's Lucifer. And I'm gonna get into that too. Speaking of movies and stuff, that people are loving that show Lucifer, and I know why.
I didn't even know they had a show.
It's sad. It's sad, really.
Okay.
And that's where it started.
I don't watch that much TV.
So
anything,
I didn't watch it. I just pay attention to what people say, and I watch some scenes that they post on media.
Mm-hmm.
People will like it because of the fact about it's supposed to put a different aspect how Lucifer feels and stuff. So now you see this is what the government is trying to push us to do. They're trying to pull us towards someone that doesn't even care about us, or some figure that doesn't even care about us. He only cares about his own selfish demise. Y'all don't understand how much Lucifer is literally so jealous of God that he wants to be God. Do you not get that? Even in Supernatural, and listen, I'm a big Supernatural fan. The show that's been going on.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, that's my favorite show, but not for this reason.
Right.
The way how they made God in that show was literally to basically point out the fact, he failed, or he didn't treat Lucifer right. Hold the heck on.
What?
Hold the heck on right there, man. Lucifer was putting his attention towards the fact about being God's favorite. When God gave him the responsibility of being the DJ of heaven, that means God he was one of the archangels, for crying out loud, okay? And the fact that is that you got this generation, they're pushing towards the fact, I love the show Lucifer because it puts a different aspect. No, it doesn't. It distracts you from what their true intention is.
Wow.
You want to talk about distraction? Let's talk about distraction. That's a big one right there. That and Supernatural, if people want to believe in that stuff too.
My goodness.
I love Supernatural. Don't get me wrong. Those two guys, top the whole cast and everything. But the fact that is that with the way they portray God, or the way they portray Lucifer as if he's like a hero type thing, no.
Do they have Jesus on there, or do they have God and Jesus?
They have God. They only have God.
Okay.
They don't even, they're not, like, I could speak on Supernatural part because I watched all of it. There's only a Nephilim that Lucifer created. He
procreated with a woman.
He procreated with a woman.
Okay.
Something that God never did, but he was so jealous that he probably thought that's what God did when he created Jesus, when that's not what happened. Now you see where I'm going with this. People want to try to understand how God did this, how God did that.
Right.
When we're not supposed to. The day that we understand everything is the day that he doesn't become our God.
Exactly.
So with that said, we're designed to fail ourselves, okay? We were created to fail. But it's because of his son. And then, again, the main distraction. Lucifer comes as an angel of light, but as a disguise. He's disguised himself as that. Pay attention. You see how he comes in with his white wings and stuff like that.
Like Michael?
Huh?
Like Michael?
Yeah, pretty much. He uses that as a disguise to try to persuade us to go into choosing his way instead of instead of going on the path that we were meant to go on.
Right.
And then and whatever it is about the whole thing when it comes to distraction stuff and how the government's trying to play this, they know that that when it comes to the spiritual warfare and stuff and about accepting Jesus, you only got two choices. And if you're on the fence, there's no fence. I mean, the fence that's there is for choose which side. There's no gap in the middle. So with that said, it says in the Bible, if you're not for God, then you are against them.
Right.
That's the choice. That's the ultimate
Black or
choice.
white.
That's the ultimate choice. There's no such thing as a gray.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what these shows and stuff are trying to come out with. They're trying to come out with a gray area to make us feel comfortable, to make us not be afraid of the inevitability that's going to happen to us regardless.
Trying to make everybody androgynous.
They're trying to make us being distracted from what's really going on. They say it's global warming. There's no such thing as global warming. There's not. Where's the proof? What proof? The only proof that they have is the fact about what they're doing to our forests. They're destroying them. They're creating electric cars that Tesla technology. Tesla. They say go green when clearly look at what's making that car go. The battery.
Right.
How are you going to dispose of that? Gas is a natural fossil fuel it's a natural fossil fuel. How does it harm anything? To be honest.
Hey.
Yeah,
we
inhale too much of it. Okay, that's different. But the fact is that helps us function as a society when it comes to the vehicles that we drive, when it comes to the power that we use for our homes, whether you're up in New York or you're up in somewhere else, we're paying for that. And then they're coming out with these freaking batteries and stuff that's trying to freaking kill the environment purposely.
Yeah, because
and then they're making an excuse to say, oh, it's global warming. See, they distract you from the real reason and create something that's not even there. They're trying to create a gray area when there's the only gray area is the one that they're creating.
They're trying to control you in every which way they can think of.
It's really sad, and again, when it comes to that, the battery and stuff. Look at, I don't know if many of you watched this video on YouTube. And it's still on there. Two of them. There's two videos. One of them was a white guy. The other one was a black guy later on. Mm-hmm. They both figured out how to convert a gas engine to running on water. Mm-hmm. Water.
Yeah.
So you know what that could have done for the gas stations and anything that they would have come out with. The Teslas would not even be here. Let's just say that. Teslas would not even be here because of that. And let's just say that would revolutionize everything in the best way possible. But no, they killed both of them off.
Okay.
And then they put it on the news.
Have you heard of this movie, Who Killed the Electric Car?
No. Oh, okay.
This is an older movie. This movie, what are you, 22?
22.
This might have came out before you were born.
Yep.
All right. So this movie is called Who Killed the Electric Car? This was like the first iteration of electric cars that they came out with. Okay. You could not buy them. You could only lease them. You could only lease them because they didn't want you to have the technology. So I don't know the exact miles per charge that these vehicles had, but they were higher than what the Teslas were. And then eventually somebody pulled the plug on the technology. They towed back all of the cars that and it wasn't that many they distributed. They made a whole documentary on it. And they took all of the cars. They didn't keep them in the warehouse. They told them to destroy all of those cars. And they took them to a junkyard or whatever, smashed them up, got rid of it. Because somebody was brilliant enough to come up with technology where you did not need to even take it to a mechanic to fix these cars. That's how good the technology was. And they took them all back, smashed them up, and people was trying to get their hands on them. They had a pilot program in California and Arizona with these cars. That's a very good movie.
So see, that's another example of how they possibly have the cure for cancer on that one too.
Yeah.
If they have the cure for cancer, they're not going to give it to us because they're going to create a way to where, oh yeah, here, there goes chemotherapy.
Well, remember with HIV, how many people in the '80s were dying of AIDS? You know, obviously this was before you were born, but so many people was dying of AIDS, and then Magic Johnson had gotten the HIV virus. That's why he retired from basketball in 1992, and he's still alive today. Okay, so obviously he had gotten the cure from somewhere. I don't know if he still has the virus in him, but nobody ever talks about it. And I love Magic. He was like one of my favorite players. I mean, hell, you know, through my teens or whatever, he was it. Him, Dr. J, Larry Bird, all of them.
Wait, wasn't there another person in that era that got STD, but he died from it because that's possibly because the government didn't want him to have it?
That depends on who you're talking about. Was it a sports figure?
Easy E.
Oh, Easy E.
Yep,
There
when rap was being born.
Yeah.
This is when the rap was started becoming something that was actually supposed to be authentic.
Mm-hmm.
And Easy E, he came down with what? What did he
Same
have?
thing.
Same thing, and it passed down to his kids.
Yeah.
His kids are still alive. Am I right?
I believe most of them
Am I
are.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. He's not. Why is that? See what I'm saying?
Interesting.
Like you said, Magic Johnson, right?
Mm-hmm.
He had that. He's still alive.
And thriving.
Is Magic Johnson older, or possibly the same age, or younger than Easy E?
He was older.
Older. This man's older.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Come on. They kill people, and then they broadcast it on the news. What do you call that? They're not going to tell the people on the news. Why? Because what's there to they're going to keep it a secret as much as possible. They have enough money to cover everything up.
This ain't conspiracy, folks. You can look all this stuff up yourself.
No, you're right. It's the truth.
Yeah.
It's nothing but the truth.
This ain't something that we're just putting out of thin air.
No. All those ideas that they got from the end, like 2012 movie, the I Am Legend, the iRobot, the Matrix,
Terminator,
Back to the Future. All of those movies that ties into how technology can affect us as a society. All of it, if you've paid attention, have been nothing but turned worse. iRobot.
Mm-hmm.
Biggest thing. They gave birth to AI. What? It's not nothing new, but
No.
it's still something big.
Right.
They gave birth to AI. And if y'all saw that movie iRobot,
Didn't they have a virus that was killing people in that movie?
that was I Am Legend.
Okay, yeah.
So I Am Legend, it was there was a virus that they gave, or the thing, just like COVID-19.
That's why I was
COVID-19. Except the fact that this COVID-19 made people drop dead on that. Now, again, that's our own government doing that.
Right.
But in the movie, it turned people into zombies, like some super acrobatic type
I remember,
stuff.
yeah.
So, with that said, it's like, are you guys not? Is this not more proof to be reasonable with not being distracted by technology? Because of how much good, there's so much good, yes, that has come with technology, but then there's a lot more bad that we're starting to expose of it.
Mm-hmm.
As much as there's technology that shows that there's progression, there's a lot of technology that's, majority of it is just whoosh, quite the opposite. It's going to be our downfall.
We saw all of this with the Jetsons. We saw all of this stuff with
all these cartoons, all these stuff did not just come out of thin air. All these ideas about that did not just come out of thin air. Look at the I just explained to you what the Matrix was literally about. Like when it comes to the message of it, and the message of I Am Legend, the message of freaking iRobot, the message of Terminator. They're all different versions of Terminator, but what do they all lead up to?
Total annihilation, folks. Your society, your lifestyle, everything.
Our government's meddling with stuff that they cannot even control.
And here's the funny part about it. You guys are buying into it. You're letting the government take over. It's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get that shot. I'm going to go ahead and do this.
I wouldn't be surprised if they call this what we're talking about, conspiracy theory. Or we're lying. I would not be surprised.
Oh, hell, I would be surprised if they allow
because
this video to stay up.
This just proves alone that there's going to be haters. There's going to be people that are not going to be for it. Why? Because, again, they don't want the truth. If they're not for the truth, they're going to be against the truth.
Absolutely.
Just like if you're not for God, you're against God. That's what the whole... these little decisions that we make of accepting the truth for what it is and not accepting it and wanting to be part of the Matrix, that's the choice.
I got a letter one time, and I'm gonna talk about it on air. All right, it's called the Zero Population Group. Yeah, that's how my eyes look when I got the letter in the mail. They're talking about in that letter. I might have screenshot it somewhere on my phone or whatever. It is literally called the Zero Population Group, and what they do is what they're advertised. It's like they don't want you to breed. They don't want you to... They feel like it's too many people on the earth. Okay? The population is too large.
The other thing that is, they're right and wrong about that. They're wrong about the fact about zero population type thing, and
they want to reduce the population. That it's not just stop breeding. They need to get people off. People are living too long. And
they put stress on us that kills us.
Think about all of that stuff we just talked about.
And this is what they want us to do. They want us to stress about whatever's going on in the media. They want us to stress. Why? Because they know that's going to kill us.
The entertainment industrial complex, folks.
When you go to a therapist, when you go to your doctor, those two people right there, they're your drug dealers.
And here's
they're the new drug dealers.
Well, think about the gym. Look at how many supplements everybody's taking to get these Greek-style bodies of theirs.
And look how
long they're actually living.
They don't live that long.
A lot of them don't even make it to 70.
You see that there's a black guy that was a cop officer.
Yeah.
He was a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
And he actually won. What was it, Mr. America or something?
Uh-huh.
And you saw as he got older, he had to go through so many back surgeries. He's trying to learn everything again.
Right. And
all that work just to restart.
And how many of those surgeries did he actually need? And then you don't even know what they prescribed to him to deal with those surgeries and so forth. Think about all of the drugs that people are taking nowadays. Do you really need all these drugs? Your anxiety is being created by this.
By them.
This thing here.
Your anxiety is being created by them. Because at the end of the day, they don't want you to go to your parents about stuff. They want you to think that, oh yeah, no, my parents don't know anything. My parents don't know this. My parents don't know that. Oh, but they do know more than you.
Yeah.
We've been here. They've been here longer than you. Especially with the younger generation, I think that they could test their older peers, such as people with my age and stuff. Y'all think y'all know everything. Y'all really don't.
And what
Even
are you
I don't.
chasing?
We're not saying that we know everything. We
Not
don't.
at all. No.
We don't. We're not saying that we know everything about everything, but we do know a lot. And we do know that we do know that we pay attention to what's the real truth about everything that they're trying to cover up.
Absolutely. Wow.
Especially with the food. Let's talk about the food. The food with the GMO stuff.
Yeah.
I watched this video, and this person cut a regular tomato, 2 tomatoes, same one. One had GMO, one didn't.
Uh-oh.
He took one and put it in some salt water, the regular one. Didn't do anything.
Okay.
He cut the tomato with the GMO, put it in some water and salt, just like the other one. The one with the GMO actually was moving.
What? Like a worm?
So whatever they're putting in our foods, if it doesn't have seeds in them or anything,
Well, I heard Italy banned synthetic foods now. I guess
you got
3D,
to because they're nothing. They're cloning food now. They're cloning food. Those grapes that we're probably eating, that I've been eating all these years without seeds.
Yeah.
Cloned food. It's been going on throughout this whole years and right under our noses. It's been happening.
I guess RFK Jr. was on to something, huh?
Oh, and Kennedy.
Yeah, that's one. Well,
oh, JFK and Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
Those two.
Yeah, and they tried to.
And they killed them off. Just like how they killed the guys that converted the water engine. They killed both of them. And notice how it didn't care about race because it was a white man and a black man. The black man had his truck. He converted that joint into a water engine. That man was smart. Didn't even neither of them went to college. Pay attention. You don't need college.
Well, hold up.
When it comes to that.
Now, there was somebody in the 70s, like 78, 79. I remember this firsthand. He had his car run by grease, cooking grease.
You see what I'm saying?
He literally died like 2 years after the fact.
How did he die?
God only knows. I think they said he had a heart attack, but who knows?
Heart attack. Heart attack, people.
This is a true story.
And then the other guys were what? The white guy was what? He was caught in like a riot or something, and then they shot him.
Huh.
I could be wrong. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I'm trying to figure out how he was killed, or how they say he was killed, and then the black dude. They killed him off. I don't know how, but they did. Whether they want to broadcast it as if he committed suicide, just like with that guy from the music, the one that was on the Ellen show that was a dancer. You know who I'm talking about.
I'm trying to think.
The black guy that was on Step Up movies.
Okay.
And he was a dancer.
Yeah.
They say he committed suicide. That man had a beautiful wife, beautiful kids. Why would he ever want to leave that? Why would he kill himself when he has something that is so beautiful that he gets to go home to every day? This is what we mean by when we say they're killing people off and they're broadcasting it as if it's not their fault.
Well, see, here's the whole thing. It's about control. They want to control you. And anybody that breaks that mold, they want to either target that person for assassination, whether it's physical or their character or, everything around it. Like JFK, they knocked him off because he was going against literally the military.
He was bringing up truth, man.
The military-industrial complex, something that Eisenhower gave a speech before he left the office that Kennedy started picking up on. Like, hold up, something that Eisenhower said is pretty damn correct here. Then Reagan, he started seeing some stuff. They tried to target and assassinate him, So think about some of these historic figures that didn't follow the script. Trump, he is completely out of that political arena
And
they don't want him anywhere near that.
Just
thing.
so you know, we're not. I'm not a Trump train guy,
Neither am I.
but I do support truth. People that are about truth. I'm not. I don't idolize anybody. I don't. That's the
We're just telling the story.
Mhm.
We're not sitting over there saying you need to run out there and start
They
voting for somebody.
they arrested Trump. Trump got out, and now they're on the press. Oh yeah, we have to make sure that he's arrested. Why is that? Because they're trying to cover up what they're doing too.
They can't control him. They're scared of him.
They're scared of all of us too. Because I tell you what, the more they're trying to come out with stuff like this, the more they're going to try to keep us asleep.
Of course.
So people that are
Think about what they did to Martin Luther King. To a certain degree, Malcolm X, Medgar Evers,
right,
Robert Kennedy.
Now hear me out.
Go for it.
The Malcolm X thing, or no, there was another one.
Medgar Evers, Martin Luther King.
Later on, like recent, they had him pinned to the ground, police brutality type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You talking about George Floyd?
Yeah, I think so.
Which started all this COVID mess, but go ahead.
Well, no, and here's the thing. At the end of the day,
Well, in the middle of it, but go ahead.
he wasn't Martin Luther King. Not saying that his life did not matter. His life definitely did matter.
Right.
But the way how the everybody tried to make him seem like was that he was a hero.
And he wasn't. He wasn't.
They're trying to distract you from the fact about, okay, yes, they killed someone. Now they're trying to distract you from that, oh, it was a white man killing a black dude. Or a white cop killing
a black citizen.
a black citizen.
Yeah.
And then but if it's the other way around, oh, nothing happens, right? Oh, let me guess, the black cop will lose his job. They don't care about us. They don't care whether it's one way or the other. They're going to make it to where one of us is getting the right way and the other one is hating us for it.
And see,
That's the algorithm.
Absolutely.
That's their algorithm.
And
Doesn't matter what skin color you are. I'm going to tell you that right now. Doesn't matter.
that was a perfect opportunity because everybody was sitting at home at that time with
Thank
COVID
you.
and so forth.
Thank
And
you.
They used that incident.
To stir up some stress.
That was the thing that they used as that little wick that you put on that bomb to set everything else off. It's like we use your emotions. They're controlling you with your feelings. They're not controlling you with your facts.
Just like the new Matrix movie.
It's all about how you feel
And
about
pay attention
something.
to that therapy session that he had in there too. This is why I don't trust people who are in that career. Therapy,
Yeah.
I don't trust it. My therapist is God, and the reason being is this. There's a lot of kids in this generation where they want to be distracted with these electronics, right?
Right.
Why? Because I feel I'm alone. I'm always in my room. Because you're choosing to be in your room.
Exactly.
You're not going out. You're not spending time with your family.
Exactly.
You're not doing what is needed of you.
Exactly.
Not just for others, but for yourself, for your own mental health.
Exactly.
The media is raising the songs, the music, the new artists are raising this next generation and my generation to rebel against discipline.
Absolutely.
To rebel against something that we need as humans to keep ourselves personally in check.
Yep.
I keep myself in check. I'm a human, okay? There's times where temptation has gotten us to be in devious thoughts.
Right.
Temptation.
Right.
Temptation.
Right.
The biggest drug. The biggest freaking drug. And this is why I'm leaving iPhone. Oh yeah, y'all don't know. I got me a new phone, 3G. This right here, garbage. Meaningless. This right here is how they track us. The drones is how they track us. They're invading our privacy. They set up 9/11. They set up all these past events. 9/11 was after when I was born.
Yeah.
2001. I was born in April of that year.
Mm-hmm.
Hence, I was in Rochester, New York. I was born before that event. And then over time, my parents, my dad always raised me to be about the truth. To try your best to not deny the truth, because if you deny it, you're going to lead yourself you're going to be blind to where you're going to be comfortable with the world and not with yourself.
Exactly.
And then that's what the government wants you. They don't want you to be comfortable. They don't want you to trust yourself, because the moment you trust yourself, the moment you start to gain your own intelligence, the moment when you start to gain your own mental strength, okay? They're brainwashing us to make our minds weak. What was Bruce Lee's #1 quote? Be like water. That man had the most insane mental capabilities to be who he was.
Right.
God created him to do what he did for a purpose, for a reason.
Right. Mysterious death on his part too.
Oh no, it wasn't mysterious. A guy, remember when he was filming the Enter the Dragon, the last movie that he did? The guy shot him with a real bullet. His son died the same way. Why do you think that is? It's not just the fact about the good die young. They set that up. What happened to the guy that murdered them, huh? What happened to them? Did we hear anything about that?
Nothing at all.
No, we didn't. Did we hear anything about if they found the people that killed the freaking guy that did the water engines? No. They don't care.
Exactly.
They don't.
Exactly.
They only care if they can catch you on it.
Yeah. Now, can you imagine if they never had the Sabruta film on JFK, how that would have went down? They wish they could have wiped out that film on him being killed.
And, with all this distraction, it also distracts you from how you feel about your family.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to get it. And that right there, and I brought this up before in the previous video about my cousin. And I'm going to say this right now.
Go for it.
I've been praying for him the whole time. I probably said that in the previous video, but I just want to reiterate that right there. Pray. I prayed to God. Not only for him, for myself. Why? Because it takes two. I had to understand how to forgive. He had to understand about a lot of things about himself too. I'm not going to disclose that because that's between me and him. I'm going to show respect for that.
Right.
I'm not going to speak for him.
Right.
But I will tell you this. Me and him, we're back on track to where we were before. We have a great relationship because of what he said to me and what he did as a man himself. See, he actually literally, all this time that we haven't talked, all this time that we haven't talked to each other at all because it was just the wrong time for it. I was praying for him the whole time. Why? Because that's my cousin, no matter what. At the end of the day, that's my blood. At the end of the day, he recognized what he did was wrong. And he finally did what he knew he had to do. Just like what I had to do. It wasn't an easy choice for either of us, but it had to happen. Everything happens for a reason. And here's the thing that I understood. Everything that bad happens to you, you got to understand this. It's not good to you, right? Mm-hmm. It's not good to you. Mm-hmm. But it is good for you. Mm-hmm. If that didn't happen to me, you know where I probably could have ended up? Let's be honest here. You know where I could have ended up?
Go for it.
I probably could just ended up doing some real dumb stuff, such as going to jail.
Mm-hmm.
I could have been anything. I could have been drunk. I could have been fallen into my family genetics and be a drug addict. No.
That's a learning experience.
I could have been with a woman that really never truly valued me.
Yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't probably even know her own value. So, it's not the fact that she's not a bad person. She just made bad decisions.
But that's what they want.
That's what they think that they think that
But that's what
my ex could literally think that I think of her like a piece of crap. When really...
And I'm not talking about the girl. I'm talking about the government.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
What they want. They want you in
They
this
want
way.
us to be like that towards people that do wrong by us.
You get addicted. You get in the system. Then on top of that, it's like, okay, you start having sex with women that you're not going to be with, so abortion kicks in. You know what I'm saying? In case they get pregnant, because remember, zero population, folks. They don't want you to procreate. That's why they push the LGBTQ so hard, because it's like, look, sex is just sex. You don't have to be in love. You don't have to be with the person. It doesn't matter.
But this
they try to desensitize
they
you.
desensitize the value of sex.
Exactly.
They desensitize it, and I'm gonna say this because nowadays, and again, he brought up a valid point. There's gonna be people though they're gonna judge you by your body count. Why? Because that's what the government wants. They want us to judge each other by our zodiac signs. They want us to judge each other. They want us to. I said it wrong. They want us to judge each other by labels.
Absolutely.
They want to label us. You not seeing that? My zodiac sign, even though my zodiac sign is a Taurus, I admit if I'm wrong in any area, whether it's what I say or what I do, I'm gonna own up to my stuff. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a man of honesty. If I mess up, I'm gonna own up to it, and I'm gonna do my best to learn from it and grow from it. Just like my cousin, he messed up. It had to take him It had to take both of us this time for us to be apart, for him to recognize what he did was wrong.
Right. Right.
So with that said, you couldn't ask, and I couldn't ask for a better, more heartfelt apology than what he texted me. And he read it. I showed it to him. And the best thing about it is that I can say, this is why you don't hold grudges. That's what the government wants us to do. They want us to hold grudges by the people that did wrong by us. And really, that's how they divide us. Divide we fall. United we stand. Does anybody not get that saying or that quote? I mean, hello. Look at what
That's what Lincoln brought up.
The original Transformers. But I'm not talking about the cartoon, but the actual original movies with Sam Witwicky.
Mm-hmm.
What was that? What was the Optimus Prime's message?
Break it down, boys, because I don't remember the movie.
This is he said that when he came at the end of the movie, the first one I believe, he said, wherever you guys are, we have to stand strong and unite together.
Right.
No matter what race we are. They're literally robots, okay? They're a completely different, advanced, robotic race.
Exactly, yeah.
And he understood that even their own technology stuff was going to be a destruction, not only to them, but to also other planets. So when he came down to here, he came down not only to seek, refugee or to hide,
mm-hmm.
but that's where they made their stand, was here. So, and it wasn't only with them, it was with all of us.
Mm-hmm.
And then as you saw later on, the government tried to get in on it and try to make profit, try to do it for money. And then they brought back the Megatron,
mm-hmm.
right? They put his configurations into a new one.
Mm-hmm.
When you're meddling with something that is obviously going to be a failure.
Right.
You just brought back Megatron, okay? Y'all give him a major upgrade. This is what our society does. They do dumb stuff with something that's not meant to be meddled with.
And see, that's the whole thing, folks. All of the stuff, all of these movies, social media, anything, technology driven, even beyond that. You go to medical, you go into sports, you go everywhere. They're dousing you with this stuff to make you feel insecure. And you know why? Because it's easier to control an insecure person than somebody that has a belief in a strong faith.
Or not just that either, just, how do you say it? They're well aware of what's going around them.
But see, that's how they...
Being self-aware.
Of course, because when they control that information, and if I can get you to be insecure, more than likely, I can try to manipulate you to go here.
It's all psychological. They attack us psychologically, which therefore that's a door that they just push open on us.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also up to us whether to defend that or not.
That's why they want you alone. That's why they want you away from your family.
They want you in your rooms. They want you to be distracted with the video games. They want you to be distracted with the music that you listen to. They want you to be distracted with the videos that you watch on TikTok. They want you to be distracted with what you do with your phone.
And they don't want you to work either.
They don't want you to work either. You got that right. And if they do want you to work, they want you to be enslaved.
Yeah.
And even what you're doing right now is technically enslaved because you're doing what you want to do. You're doing what you want to do, which is selfish. Not everything that you want is good for you, but everything that you need is good for you.
You think about it. You go to work tomorrow morning, tonight, whatever time you go to work. How hard is it for you to do your easy job? You may love your job, but you hate everything and everybody around you, and it's done on purpose, folks. The DEI, the ESG, all of that stuff is done on purpose.
Why do you think, like, recently I noticed, like, I work at Walmart, so it's like one of the worst places to work at, but it's actually great. And I'm gonna say this because one thing I learned about any job in general, this goes with any job that has to do with customer service, don't expect something too high that you think is going to go, because it's not going to go the way how you want it to go. But it is going to go the way it needs to go. And then along the line, you're going to be able to recognize something that's wrong, and then you're going to be able to give them some input that can actually help. And then you got to be the one to create your own environment at your work. Because this is what the government wants us to do. They want us to get frustrated with our managers and our bosses because you got a lot of people in that field that doesn't know how to be a good leader.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And it's okay. That doesn't mean that they're a bad person. That just means that they have yet to learn. They have a lot more to learn about being a leader than just being a manager or than just being a boss.
Exactly.
And I'm speaking through experience because one thing I noticed is when I first went into my department, the OGP department, where I dispense orders and stuff, there was a lot of favoritism against me in the beginning.
Mm.
There was. Why? Because that's how the government wants everything to go now. Everything that they want to run is based off of favoritism. Favoritism.
Yep.
Okay? And a lot of you are going to ask, why are you still there? Or how is it that you're still able to do it? It's because I proved them otherwise. I took control of what I had to do, which I could control myself. If I can control what I can do, and to make that place a better environment, everything else is going to apply.
Exactly.
And I have to do it, but not just with my actions, but also with my intent of how I do it.
Right.
I don't do it just to say, oh yeah, I'm gonna drop this whole favoritism stuff. That is a part of it, but no, that's not my attitude. That's not my intent. My intent is, okay, I'm going to show them that there's a better way. I'm going to show them who I really am through my actions.
Exactly.
My words mean nothing without my actions backing it up. So if I can show them first, then talk about it afterwards, then it makes more sense and it doesn't become pillow talk. It becomes an actual conversation.
There you go.
Because everything that you talk about, if you're not doing anything, it's an awkward pillow talk. That's all you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Is running your mouth like a puppet. You're running your mouth like a freaking, as if the government is your ventriloquist. That's what the government is. They're the ventriloquist of everything, because they could get they have psychological stuff that they use on us.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have to. This is where you have to be aware. You have to train yourself. You have to practice into becoming more aware, and to accept the truth, and to gather the information before you make a decision on things. That's what the government does. The government wants us to do everything based off of our feelings. Every decision that we make, they want us to do based off of our feelings. But no, we have to be statistically informative and factual about the way we do it.
Absolutely.
See, when someone fires someone, nowadays it's because of personal. You see how that works?
Yeah.
Instead of, there's someone that's slacking at work and it's been constant, but they don't bring it until someone says something about it. Which, again, okay, they wait for another associate to say something about it. They should literally bring that person, bring it into have a private conversation, show respect to them, and make them aware, let them know, be aware of what they're doing, because they may not be aware of what they're not doing.
Exactly.
So this is where the managers or the bosses have to become the leader. Be the leader that you're supposed to be. You're getting paid all this money to do your job, yet you don't even know how to do it.
But do they allow them to do it? That's the thing.
That's like managers, okay, that's one thing. But the bosses, the ones that's running,
You're talking about at the high level,
the corporate. I'm talking about corporate.
Executive corporate level.
Because I got amazing managers and bosses that treat me with respect.
Right.
Doesn't matter. Like, I have a really good friend down here that I call my sister. Me and her, we have different views about what we believe in. But nonetheless, we still love truth over anything.
Right.
So, with that said, you could believe in something, whatever you want to believe in. As long as you represent yourself with how do you treat yourself, it's how you're going to treat others.
Absolutely.
If you want respect, you have to be willing to give a little to gain a little.
Yeah.
It's the little things that matters. Okay?
Absolutely.
And also, with that said, because of the little things that matter, it doesn't mean that you have to get upset if there's something that goes wrong in the little area.
There you go.
You gotta momentarily be like, okay, I'm momentarily frustrated about it, but I'm not gonna take it on anybody. I have to deal with it myself. Right now, let me just focus on what I can do to help the situation. They don't want us to do that even.
At all. Look, I don't have a job, folks. Technically. I haven't had a job in 15 years. Okay? That's one of the reasons why I left the corporate world, is all of that he just mentioned. And I was at the very precipice of this DEI crap to start to happen, where it's like you get taken to HR for something you said, not something you did, and I don't feel comfortable with this. It's like, well, hold up. There's accountability. Well, we don't handle it that way anymore. Stuff like that.
Now and that's exactly how the government is handling everything. That's how they've been handling everything. Is there's no accountability, zero.
There you go.
And how can you respect? How can they expect respect off of something that they're lying to us about? About the way they are as a person. And they think we're the ones that have the mental disorder. It's quite the opposite, man. It's quite the opposite. You really want to go about it? Let's go about it, man. Because at the end of the day, they're the ones that have the mental disability. They're the ones that need the medicine more than anything.
Absolutely.
Man.
They gain wealth and control, folks. That is the entertainment industrial complex. All of that we just talked about is all connected to each other.
And I like to bring up another thing too.
Absolutely.
The new movie that came out, the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
There's been news about it recently after that with the people who did the animation.
Uh-oh.
They're on strike.
Oh yeah, I heard about the strike. Yeah, the writer's
because
strike.
they're not getting paid.
Yeah.
So again, this is what our government's coming up to. You don't want to pay the people for doing the artwork, but you'll pay the people for doing the voice acting. You'll pay the people that acts, not actually doing the hard freaking doodling work to actually create the animation for the movie so that the movie can become successful. And they delayed it. They delayed the release date just to make sure that it's actually perfect.
So, hold up. You're not going to pay the people that make the people look good for people to go see the movie.
But you're going to pay the people that look good. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them. Listen, everybody's got to make a living. But that's the point. Everybody needs to make a living. So when you got people that does the animation, you better damn well pay them as much, if not a little more, than the actors.
Yeah, you know what's going to happen, right? AI is going to take over those jobs.
And you see you see what I'm saying. So that's probably why they're not going to pay them, because they created AI to where they're going to take over. They're going to try to take control of us.
Yeah.
iRobot, people. There's movies that show the truth right there in your eye, right there in front of your freaking eyes. There's even an older movie where it was a black and white film, and it was showing how this guy had the glasses, and these glasses showed what the truth of, like, you're in New York City, you see all these billboards and stuff. Put them on, it says obey.
Oh,
don't do this. Yep. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
I saw that movie scene. I'm like, this is exactly what they want us to do. They've been telling us this from day one, before I was born, before my generation, during his generation, and the fact that is that we've been warned all this time, and
I know, and
we as the people are not listening.
And you know what's funny about all of these movies? They don't make movies like that anymore.
No,
because
they don't want to.
They can't, because they're not allowed to do this stuff anymore.
And look at it! Look how bad the CGI's been getting too. Let's talk about that. The CGI from listen, 2003 and 2008 Hulk was top tier. Early 2000s was the peak of CGI. Afterwards, it went downhill.
Yeah,
downhill.
That's awful, man.
Yep. And then the new Barbie movie.
I haven't seen it, nor have I seen the Oppenheimer.
It's corny as heck. I'm gonna let you know that right now. It's very corny, but it does. I did have a very good conspiracy about it. It's a conspiracy theory.
Break it down.
You remember the movie Elf?
Yeah.
It was set up like that.
Okay.
And guess who was in it? Will Ferrell, the guy who played as Elf, and he's older. So he's older. He's the guy that owns the company that makes Barbie.
Huh. Okay.
So, and then Barbie is in this fantasy world, just like how Elf was with the North Pole.
Right.
Right. She just realized, like, oh snap, boom, because she was supposed to be mediocre Barbie. Were walking on her toes all the time and stuff like that, and not thinking about anything negative.
Yeah.
All positivity is what our society is doing now.
All right.
But then when she mentioned death, is because when someone was playing with her as a doll, they put their feelings in that, and then once that went into her heels went down to the ground, and now she was becoming human. Elf.
Right.
He thought he was an elf.
Yeah.
He had someone that told him who he really was or where his father was. He had to go on this journey, right?
Yeah.
To go to New York. Some weird freaking journey that makes no sense, but he made it to New York.
Yeah.
Barbie Land. She goes through a weird freaking journey that makes no sense at all, and ends up in New York.
Get out of here.
Dead serious. So the whole format of this movie is going up by Elf. Now, hear me out. It does tie into it. Remember in the ending when Will Ferrell and Elf chose to stay with his dad in New York?
Yeah.
And wanted to build a life there?
Yeah. I'm playing this in my mind, folks.
Now, think about it. He's building the life. He built it. He's the owner of the company that makes Barbie.
Oh,
now he's an adult. He created something that was similar to what he had, if not, but in his own way. Barbie, boom, comes down to New York. She goes through this emotions of sadness stuff because of reality is
right.
And Elf did the same thing.
Get out of here.
You see what I'm saying? And once she saw Will Ferrell,
yeah,
because Will Ferrell kept like, all right, I know what you need. He brought this big plastic cover that they were packaged in as dolls, and then he knew it. And then she was like, "Oh my gosh, I miss his new smell." Why did he know that? And then no one else knew how to get to Barbie Land except for Barbie and Ken.
Right.
Ken went back after when he found out some things about it. Boom, created his own Ken world.
Yeah.
But how did Will Ferrell knew how to get there when he was in the human world already? You see what I'm saying? So he already knows because he probably created that.
Now
it's starting to add up.
It's added up.
Because no one else in that real world knew anything about, even though that there was a Barbie Land, except for him,
right,
and his people that worked for him.
So now you're gonna make me say yes to some young lady that may want to drag me to see Barbie now. Now I'm intrigued.
You're probably gonna want to, because at the end of the day, it's a very good thing. Now, at the end of the day, she stood human and she didn't know what to do. You know, she didn't want to be Barbie, but she kind of started enjoying the fact about realizing about the world. She goes into the world, boom, gets a job. Mm-hmm. Just the same way as Will Ferrell did in the ending.
Get out of here, man.
So Will Ferrell owned the company that literally branched off from his own personal story from Elf.
And because he was a toy maker.
And
yeah.
But it's not as funny as it was with the first one. Like, you know, the first one actually brought some realism into it. This one was like as if the world was fake. And that kind of got me intrigued as to how society is today.
Yeah. That's one hell of a correlation, man.
Yeah. Actually, no. Was it New York or was it in California? Either way, it was one or the other.
Uh-huh.
But it still was the same.
Right now, I'm mind blown on that one. My goodness. I had no freaking idea. And you know, people that know me know that I am not really a movie buff. But if you drag me kicking and screaming, I'll go and see it.
And the only reason why I did that was because, again, it's a conspiracy theory that you can't, like, what proof is there to deny it it's not even true?
Huh.
Just saying.
Man, one hell of an episode. I mean, my mind is literally blown at this point with this Barbie thing and just this whole entertainment industrial complex, man. Everything. The government just wants control. They want everybody in discord.
And now, hold on. Wasn't that movie rated... What was that movie rated? PG-13?
It had to be.
There's a lady in there. Spoil one thing for you real quick. It's a big deal to me because I want you to be aware. They kind of beat it. You know, beep, if you say a curse word. But you actually kind of heard it too. Yeah, she said a curse word in there and stuff. I'm like, dude, really? Is this how you want to raise our next generation now? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this is what I mean by the movie is a bittersweet.
I got you. Wow.
Yep.
Well, folks, we left a lot on your plate. You have to eat it, store it, freeze it, reheat it, everything else. You know, Even though we sat over there and said all of this stuff about like, share, and subscribe, but you gotta like this one, man, because
Just like it,
we just
I don't really, we don't. To us, it's like we don't do this for that. We only do it to get the truth out
look.
there.
The truth is out there. Subscribe. There's going to be more of it coming behind it. We're going to cover some of those other topics, down the line and so forth. I mean, hell, I might even dive into the JFK assassination a little bit since you brought it up. So, you never know
Just
what we're
saying.
going to talk about, man.
Yep.
So, we're going to catch you on the other side. You guys stay safe, stay informed, and start believing a lot more than what you are doing, and let your feelings be good, not awful. Think about some of the
Not
stuff
just
that you
good. Let your feelings be honest, and just
there's
become
hope.
more self-aware.
There's hope out there, but you have to believe in that hope, and you also have to believe in family, friends, relationships. You don't have to be alone. Don't let the government fool you into believing that you got to be insecure 24/7. You got anything else before we sign off?
Well, the only thing I can say about that too is please pray for yourselves, because there's a lot of people like me who pray for ourselves, but we also pray for you. Because at the end of the day, we're doing this because we love you guys. It's an unconditional love that doesn't come from me. It comes from the God who I serve, or the God who I listen to. Because that's my God. My God has shown me, has opened my eyes to a lot of truth, not just now, but even when I was young.
All right. You guys
There you
take
go.
care of yourselves. Until next time.